Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are analyzing MiNii new personal best and new second place run, standing at 14 minutes and 2 seconds. This run is 13 minutes and 53 seconds in in-game time and is only behind the world record by about 18 seconds. And this run is buttery smooth, so let's get right watching it now. So MiNii spawns in. You see there's a taiga here on the left. Most of it's snowy biome. There's even some ice spikes on the right. He spots a taiga village to the left and starts running over. Now, taiga villages are usually known to be good for blacksmiths and good for resources in general. This one, not so much. This one that he comes to is not going to be kind. He quickly identifies the houses and says, yeah, these carrots are worth grabbing because, yeah, none of these houses have chests in them. Just some top level stuff, looking around the houses and being able to identify all of them. And one thing that there being no chests means is that there's no wood, so he has to punch wood, which isn't too bad, but in a taiga village it is bad because a chest can easily solve that. And I'm not going to go through how he gathers tools, but it is kind of funny that he crafts a wooden sword here. I think that's a little out of the ordinary. I haven't seen that before. Usually runners grab stone tools. But MiNii opts just to craft the wood sword here. And you can see he crafts a bucket and has 1 iron left over. So he doesn't get the 5. Very tragic. But one thing that the wood sword does do is mine everything else 5% faster. Just slight things. So you can see here, if you mine, let's say, a tree or dirt with a wood sword, or any sword for that matter, it'll actually mine 5% quicker. Just some minor things. He's going to gather some stone here, get some stone tools. And I don't know if we saw it yet, but there does happen to be a lava pool in this village, which means he's going to enter the nether very quickly, like in under 3 minutes. Now, he only has 1 bed, and he only has carrots, so this is not going to be too fun. It's not going to be too fun of anything, because carrots are not known to be the best food source. But you can see there's a lava pool. This villager is just hanging out, doing his job and whatnot. He just is unknowingly next to a lava pool, or unless he does know it, I'm not sure. He's working under some pretty dangerous conditions. But MiNii's going to create the standard lava pool portal. And he's going to be in the nether in, again, under 3 minutes. So this overworld, some things to note, but overall, pretty normal. And he's going to place the lava over here. He has the villager's life in mind. And here he is entering the nether. He's going to enter the nether at about 2 minutes and 50 seconds. And what's on the other side might come as a shock or might not. And here it is, warped and the fortress. Now, we've entered the realm of the world record that says, yes, this nether is really good. There's a warp, there's a fort. But look at this fort. It's in the middle of nowhere, right? It's over lava. That's not fun. No one wants to have a fort over lava. Usually you'd want terrain around it or something, so you can use that terrain to your advantage. And right around here, there's 2 skeletons, and then the fortress folds in on itself here, and you have to go around it or go through it. It's very wacky. That might mean that it's 2 fortresses, or I think there's sometimes where a single fortress will do this, but it's a little wacky that he has to mine through the good part of the fortress. You don't have to do that normally. And he's struggling here to find the blaze spawner. He goes up this way. There's nothing there. Trying to find any remnant of a good part. But he notices here that there is some weirdness with this wall, so he's going to go up here. And the weirdness means that it is indeed a blaze spawner. So he's going to be at the blaze spawner in just about 3 minutes, 30 seconds. So here we are. You see there's 4 blazes here. He only has a stone sword, so he's kind of getting beaten up a little bit. But down goes his first blaze. All these blazes are ready to fire at him. But taking him down, getting a few rods here. And you really, I know the runners don't choose the seed chooses the runner essentially, but it's very not fun to play fortresses in the open, especially with no armor, no pearls, and only a stone sword. I guess the only good news is that he didn't have to go through the bad part of the fortress. So he's blocked off all of the ways here, just taking down some places. You see he's getting a lot of rods here. So he's going to try to go back down here. And he's just out. He's done. Pretty insane. That was a really, really, really fast fort split. But now comes the warped. And there's good news and bad news with the warped. The good news is that it's right there. Bad news is that there wasn't a whole lot of good terrain to play. So he's going to have to get a little creative here. He runs down this side of the fort and sees that there's some warped here and says, okay, I can jump down. I don't want to be in this fortress any longer. And there's more terrain over here, so he's going to opt to go over this way. Now, later on, he actually loaded back up the seed, and it turns out that there was a treasure bastion very close by. So he didn't know that when he was playing, but the warp split is about 3 minutes and 30 seconds, spoiler alert, and if that treasure bastion wasn't there, it might have been a bit faster. Needless to say, though, this is still good warp terrain, and this is still the spot to set up. You might be wondering, why is he setting this up out of netherrack? That is because, believe it or not, Endermen do not steal netherrack. Usually I use the warped wood, or I forget what it's called. I'm just going to call it warped wood. You all know what I'm talking about. But usually I use that, and I don't need to. You could just use netherrack. Endermen don't pick up netherrack, then they pick up the warped nadium. The blue grass. So here is pretty open area. Looking around for some Endermen. And he's starting the warped here at about 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Now he's going to exit the nether behind Survivor's Run. However, you'll see where he makes up this time. And in here I want to talk slightly about this nether split. This nether split is 7 minutes and 40 seconds long. And that is about a minute and a half, a minute 35 slower than the world record nether split. That is ironically also held by MiNii at 6 minutes and 5 seconds. And 740 is most comparable to my nether split at my personal best at 736. So despite the fact that when you're looking at the nether on this run, it probably looks a lot better than my nether and my personal best. But because of the terrain and how everything worked out, the splits are similar. So perceptions aren't everything. But here he goes. He's still taking down Enderman. It's going to be a little bit longer than usual. You see how he's not getting as many spawns as, 7 or 8 or so. So it's not the absolute best warp terrain. But, well, actually, the terrain itself is good. It's just that treasure bastion is soaking. Because it's rendered in. But, again, not knowing that at the time, this is definitely the way to play it. And actually those blaze rods in the fort were really good drop rates there. So you might be wondering, how is it that MiNii is able to enter the nether at about 100 on the x coordinate, 50 on the z coordinate, and then still be able to get second place because of reasons, right? Like, how is Survivor's Run, which has the very close stronghold and exits the nether a lot earlier than MiNii, have a slower run? I mean, yeah, by like 6 seconds in IGT and then 2 seconds in RTA, but still slower. How is that? You'll see. And no, MiNii's not going to get 19 pearls. He's not gonna pull a bowler and just get 19 pearls. That's not going to happen. He knows how to count. I don't. That's the problem. So, still looking around here at some Enderman. You can see by this point, he's probably getting a bit frustrated. Like, why is this warp terrain so good and I'm not getting a whole lot of spawns? Which 3 minutes and 30 seconds isn't a very slow warp split, but I would have some frustrations in the back of my head. So, all right, he's out. And he's going to, well, he's actually exiting the warp at about 10 minutes, but he has to get back to his portal, which is going to take him a bit longer. And there is something to note here as he gets out of the nether. It won't be as important as survivors, but I will have to say this anyway. So he gets out of the nether at about 10 minutes and 30 seconds, and you can see in the sky it's just turning night, which means it's very, very, very good pace. But how does he make up this time? I was just talking about, how does he make up all the time that he loses to Survivor? He's about a minute behind on the warped, on the nether exit. And Survivor's stronghold was so close. Well, the answer is right here in ice boating. Yeah, you can just fly. You can just, like, this is like the equivalent of, like, speeding on the highway and doing, like, 1,000,000 miles an hour. But no one's going to stop you. So right there's the stronghold village. That's how he's able to make up all this distance incredibly quickly. Notice the distance isn't a whole lot either. You can see he's actually going to end up at the stronghold, and it's about -170, +680 or so, which is about 850 blocks away from the origin. And he remembers here he only has one bed, so he has to get 2 more, and he has to dig down. And that's all. That's all he has to do. And he did luckily get 2 obsidian from that ruined portal in the nether, so he doesn't even have to worry about doing some 1 cycle. Obsidian is just king for 1 cycle. It makes everything very consistent. So he's going to do sprinks right here, and he's going to be digging down. He did get snowballs already, so that's why he doesn't get any more here. And he's digging down with this efficiency 2, unbreaking 2 gold pickaxe, which is going to make digging down a whole lot easier. And very shortly, he is going to, boom, hit the stronghold. And he's in the stronghold about 12 minutes and 20 seconds. So, remember, he exited nether at 10 minutes and 30 seconds. So he was able to get to the stronghold, get to the stronghold coordinates, and then dig down to the stronghold in a minute and 50 seconds after leaving the nether. And there's the portal room. One Eye takes down the spawner, takes down some silverfish, and is going to arrange his inventory real quick. Throws out the iron sword here, and just prepares for the 1 cycle with obsidian. And I think runs now are getting to be like less downtime. Like, I can't just be an NPC and talk about nothing now. I have to actually talk about stuff. It's very hilarious. So he's entering the end here at 13:05. It's about 14 seconds behind the world record. So he pearls to the center here and has to wait like a couple seconds for the dragon to perch. But once it does, game on. I'm going to place some blocks around just to stabilize. Does that just to stabilize himself, like after he hits the bed on the way back. Yeah, he's going to take some damage, and he's going to build up here pretty far away from the dragon. 6 -13. He's going to have to do a little bit of coming back to the dragon. There it is. He just has to put some lava on the dragon's head. And 1, 2, 3. And there we go. That's the new second place run, 13:53. And that was a very good run. And I have no doubt that MiNii is going to have the next world record. And with that, I'll see you all next time.